Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow Room. Oh, we've got a really strange disc that disappeared into the letter J and never to emerge again. Two really strange works, one by Jan Järvlepp, born 1953, and Imants Kalnin's the Rock Symphony from 1940. Well, he was born 1941. It was written in 1972. The Garbage Concerto is 1996. So the Garbage Concerto it features recycled garbage and orchestra. Now, this is not really as original as people think it is, or as maybe the composer thought it was, because Lou Harrison was doing that in the 1940s with his American gamelan music, taking hubcaps and brake drums and things like that and assembling his own percussion ensembles. And, we have bottles and stuff, all the usual crap that you throw into the percussion section. It's a fun piece. It really is. I mean, the movements are marked Dance of the Wind, the Rideau Canal, 3 a.m., and Rain Dance. And it's it has a sort of classics meet rock influence, rock music that is, not as in the Rock Symphony. And the Rock Symphony also has some strange instrumentation and things going at it. It's much more of a minimalist piece. It's Philip Glass, John Adams, those people. And it's enjoyable. I mean, the music is total and pleasant. The Rock Symphony is 44 minutes long. I mean, it has it's longers, I think. But the Singapore Symphony is under Lan Shui with the Krumata Percussion Ensemble, and they play splendidly. I mean, it's a curiosity. It's on BIS, and I mean, what can I tell you? It's a very, very curious disc, and I keep it because it's a curio. It's exactly what it is, and I'm a curio kind of guy. So let's see, we put that there. Yes, that will work. Then we have a 4-disc set on Le Chant du Monde from Radio France, the homage to Marek Janowski, who at this point in his career, Janowski is really a fine conductor. He's a musician's musician. He's very literal. He doesn't have an overwhelmingly charismatic personality, but he does all kinds of interesting stuff. And so we've got from the 1999-2000 season will be Marek Janowski's last as musical director of the Orchestra Philharmonique de Radio France. This 4-CD set pays tribute to their 15-year collaboration with the first release of recordings of some of their finest concerts. And so they're all in decent sound, and there's some wonderful stuff here. It really is. First disc, it's 4 discs. Strauss's Alpine Symphony and Sibelius Symphony number 7. Yeah, okay. Then disc number 2, we've got Fauré's Pélias et Mélisande, the Dutilleux's Timbre, Espace, Mouvement, which is a wonderful piece. Just a wonderful, wonderful piece. I remember seeing Rostropovich do one of the first performances of it with the National Symphony in Washington, D.C. I think it was dedicated to Rostropovich, if I'm not mistaken. Well, Cello Concerto certainly was. And I think it may have been commissioned by him. But it's one of Dutilleux's late works. And if you like, Metabol, or the First Symphony, or, any of his other orchestral pieces, it's not that there are many of them, you'll want to hear that. It's terrific. And then we have Debussy's La Mer, which is nice and watery. It's a nice performance of that. Schumann's Second Symphony, the Brahms Second Symphony. Well, Janowski is a very fine Brahms and Schumann conductor. His Brahms particularly, he did a Brahms cycle with the Pittsburgh Symphony that's absolutely superb. So that's definitely worth hearing. And then we've got Bruckner 6. He's also a terrific Bruckner conductor, or mostly. He did, with the Suisse Romande, I believe. A Bruckner cycle. It was on pentatone. Had a fabulous 8th and some other really good performances. Sometimes he just gets to be so matter-of-fact that he can sort of suck the life out of a performance, out of a piece of music. But his Bruckner is generally pretty good. And then Wagner, Siegfried's Funeral March. Well, I mean, there's a million versions of that. But this is a nice little collector's item, which I have held on to with tenacity, because I am nothing if not tenacious. And I do turn to it once in a while, every, 30, 40 years or so, just to see what's going on. I mean, Janowski, since this came out, and this is the thing, this was issued in 1999. He's had a much more prominent career, largely because he was one of the stalwarts of Decca's Entartete Musik series. And then he's, like I said, he did a lot of stuff for Pentatone, the Bruckner cycle, the Brahms cycle, stuff like that. So, yeah, he's a fine conductor. It's always interesting to hear his stuff. So I'm glad to see this. And that's it for this particular version of Random Reviews from the Overflow Room. Only a couple projects here because, one's sort of a box set, and we want to talk about it at a little more length, and a little more detail. But keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, because Janacek is up next. Take care.